Hello, welcome. This is just going to be a really short, as you can tell, I haven't even done my hair or anything because my hair is still wet. This is just a very quick catch up. I'm not going to stay here long. I just wanted to keep the continuity of always coming on Sundays around 11:30, 11. And I realize I'm 10 minutes late, okay? I'm not posting this on Twitter or anywhere else. If somebody finds out, it's because they got the message. I'm doing that on purpose because I'm trying to test to see if anybody gets the notification. If you're watching the replay, please let me know in the comments that you got the notification or if you just found the live stream. I am going to say a couple of things about a couple of stories that are going on, and then I'm going to go because, as you can probably tell, I'm not doing very well. The lights are off and the window is barely open, just so you can kind of see me. I'm doing laundry. If you haven't noticed, I am doing laundry. I don't like the kitchen to show up that much. um, yeah. I'm doing laundry today, so as you can tell, I have stuff on the background. For those of you who don't know, we lost electricity on Monday due to something that the apartment complex was going to fix in this building. And so we were moved to a motel for 5 days. What I didn't realize last Sunday when I got sick was that I didn't have internet. So if I wanted to do a live stream, I could have done it from bed, but I was in so much pain that I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the day off. So that is what happened with that. I wanted to talk about something that I saw on there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. Number one, please be advised that yes, I'm still working on the timeline of the drama community from birth to death. It's not dead. It's just transformed, but people sometimes want to stay in the past. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about the newcomers as well as those who have made the progression from drama to commentary drama kind of situation, because I found some very interesting things about that particular subject. But I wanted to talk for a second about something that I saw. Well, first of all, let's have one moment to talk about Luke Skywalker, aka, oh my God, Mark Hamill, because he went ahead and he decided to start this campaign on Twitter. Now, for those of you who don't know, Twitter, which is known as X now, but I know as Twitter, and I will never stop calling it Twitter, sorry, went ahead and did this thing where they're, in a way, privatizing likes. And what that means is that you can still see that somebody got 50 likes on a comment, but now you don't get to see who the 50 people are. Now, I said as a joke when this happened that what was Elon trying to hide? Because we all know that he likes some very subversive things. Well, somebody actually made a complete news article about that, which I thought was hilarious. And and they published this whole story about it. I haven't read the article yet, but I thought it was really interesting that I made a joke about something, and clearly I was not the only one that was thinking that this was very self-serving on Elon Musk's part. But Mark Hamill, who had no problem with the idea that people know exactly what he likes, started going to tweets and adding, "Hey, Molly, I don't know if you're watching, like if you caught up or if you're just watching from now, but I wasn't going to come live. I just figure I might as well do the continuity thing. But I am exhausted. I don't know if you can tell. I just literally washed my hair and came out to do this for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. You know how I am. I say 5 minutes and then it's, I'm 20 minutes. But I'm doing laundry, as you can tell. And yeah. So anyway, going back to Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill decided that he had no issues with people knowing what he liked. So he's going on tweets from everybody and leaving the comment like. I don't know if he's actually leaving a like and then the comment like, but the bottom line is that the like has become a thing that everybody's talking about, which I think is hysterical. And it brings back the fact that personally, here's the thing that I find interesting. The point of likes and comments is to drive engagement to your post. If people don't know that you like something, for example, if I leave a comment on your post on Twitter, everybody that follows me is going to see my comment on Twitter, correct? Well, usually if you left a like, people can look what kind of things you like. They would just go to the site where it said likes, and you could read what things I like. I'm personally not embarrassed about anything I like. I am very open about what I like and what I don't like. I don't like turfs. Everybody knows that. I don't like Karens, although I can be one. I think we can all be one at one point or another. I don't have a problem with people knowing what I like. But some people, including the CEO of the company, clearly have a problem with people knowing what they like. It's not either here or there. I don't know if it's going to mess up the engagement of some people. I don't care because I'm not there. The engagement on Twitter is not what it used to be. I decided to run a little experiment and pay for it for a couple of months to see if engagement improves. Ironically, I'm seeing improvements so far. The experiment has been going on for, I think it's like 8 days or something like that. So far, what I've noticed is an increase of people seeing my replies to other people's comments. But as far as my own posts, my own personal posts, I'm not seeing anything. So do I think people should pay to see? And the other thing is, the reason why I decided to do it for a few months and not just 1 month is because 30 days is not enough. 30 days is not okay. 30 days is not enough for you to know if something is working for now. When it comes to strategies that have to do with marketing, promotion, that kind of thing, 30 days is not enough of a time. I would dare say 30 days is not enough for anything, medications, anything. Because 30 days, you might see something like a little something, but it really takes 60 to 90 days for you to see an actual change on anything. So I went ahead and I said, I'm going to sacrifice 3 months and see what happens. Do I think I'm going to keep it? Probably not. But until I decide what the strategy in terms of social media is going to be for this channel and for everything else that I want to do, and that's still in the back burner because we're looking for an apartment, we're looking to move, and it's really funny because if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago if I had a job, I would have told you I probably won't have a job for much longer. And now, as it turns out, things have changed to a point where I'm very optimistic about what can happen. But even if it doesn't happen, the bottom line is I need to make as much money as possible. And right now, YouTube is not the way. I mean, I love doing content, creating content, and I have to figure out a way of creating content even on the days when I'm tired and even when my husband is at work. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is moving myself back to my bedroom. I haven't decided that yet. But the truth be told, I have to make money somehow, and the best options are my job and the job that I used to have, which ironically, the contract I used to have started sending me messages this week again. So I guess I should go and check that out. But going back to the likes and the things, the process of people liking your tweets and whatnot on Twitter is not what it used to be. Ironically, right before Elon bought Twitter, I went viral, semi-viral, with one of my own tweets. I had never seen so much responses. And so what I'm trying to do is come up with content that is more geared towards, I want to stay away from the politics and the bad stuff and concentrate on the positive, but I also want to ask people questions and see if people answer. Because that's what happened on that particular tweet that went semi-viral for me, was that I was asking a question from the audience and they were more than willing to give me an answer. Now, I'm going to keep trying to see if that works, but I have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what I really want to talk about, because as you guys know, the reason for my Twitter for this account is for me to get stuff that I'll use on the channel on content. The other thing that's going to happen is, for example, tomorrow's my day off, but I have 4 hours that I'm going to be with my boss and some of my coworkers on a project, for lack of a better word. I get paid, so I don't care. You know what I mean? But it is taking 4 hours out of my day off, and then Tuesday, since all three of us are going to be here, we're probably going to go apartment hunting. And so that limits the amount of time I have for creating content. Now, I am going to sit down with my husband and see um, what possibilities there are of doing something so that I can still film when I get home from work, because I'm at a point where I'm not that tired when I come from home. I come home from work. So I'm hoping that if he can, I'm wondering if he has a little routine. And if you see right now, you can see the camera, the fridge. Why are you doing that? I have no idea what that thing is doing that. But anyway, I'm thinking that maybe if I convince him to do something while I'm filming, or I can film like smaller videos and whatnot. And you have to remember that when you film a 5-minute video, it probably took you 20, 25 minutes of sitting in front of the camera to film a 5-minute video. That's important. Excuse me. That's important to remember, because people think, you make a 10-minute video once a week and you're done. No, that video probably took whoever did it 2-3 hours to do. If all they're doing is talking in front of the camera, if they're adding content, it might take them anywhere from 3 to 10 hours to make one little video. It's funny how people forget how TV works. An entire crew of people work for an entire week, sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day, whether it's practicing the script or filming different angles or doing different things, for a half-hour show that airs on Friday night. People keep forgetting this. People think that content creators, because we're solo, many of us are solo, it doesn't take us hours sometimes to create content. And no, I'm not talking about research or anything like that. I'm talking about the actual creating of the content, the actually sitting down in front of you and creating content. Damn it, why is it that every time I get on the stupid, if people start being idiotic? Anyway, I hope you didn't hear that, but if you did, there's somebody racing in the street next to me. I think people keep forgetting. Your what? I have this thing that is blocking what you're writing, so you're going to have to write something else so I can see what you're writing. Your what suggestion? Anyway, the bottom line is that people seem to think that it's really funny, because at the same time, we're just people playing and having a hobby. So we don't have, this is not a job. On the other hand, it's very easy to create content. You know what? I have one for you. Make your own video about a particular topic and see how you do. For one thing, yeah, I'm used to sitting in front of the camera and talking to the camera like I'm talking to one of you guys, but you all know that I get stuck all the time because I forget a word, or because I'm not sure about something, so I have to go online and check it while I have you all here. And think about it, if you were creating a video that you can cut and paste, not it's really funny, because the other day I heard Peter Munn saying that every time he sees a cut, he wonders what they left out. Personally, I leave out every time my throat goes like it did 2 minutes ago, or every time I'm coughing, or sometimes I say something and I have a train of thought and the sound comes in, and then I go ahead and clip it right there, and I start over again. And the second time around, it sounds better than the first time, so I do a jump cut there. not every jump cut is some secret horrible, because what he was, I don't remember if he insinuated or he said it outright, but what he was trying to say was that every time he sees a jump cut, he's wondering what you're hiding. Well, personally, I'm hiding the fact that I get a lot of sore throats and I cough a lot and whatnot. But there are other times when, like I said, I'm filming something and the second time around it comes out better. So I just take out the first one and keep the second one. Have I ever said something on a video that I don't want to add? Of course I have. You, and this particular part of the message is directed to Peter directly. You as a writer know better than most people that there's a reason why people edit, because you might not, it might not be something horrible that you want to keep a secret or anything like that. It might just be that you really don't want to say it in a particular way, or you want to keep it for the later on the video or whatever. I don't understand. White hood, i.e. wearing one to go viral on Twix. It's not my fault. People are stupid. Here's the thing, and I find it very, I, as much as I love Peter, I have to say that sometimes I wonder how much is projection, or not necessarily projecting himself, because he goes on camera and he just says whatever he wants to say and he's done, but how much of it is projection because he gets influenced by his friends on what to think about certain content creators. You know, I was what I don't watch a lot of beauty content creators. I watch the Walsh twins. I watch, oh my God, I forgot his name, but he's the one that makes the little clips about the lady that comes to the Ulta store. Johnny. But I can't remember the name of Johnny's channel. I watch Jen Loves. That's about it on beauty content creation. And the reason why I'm not watching beauty content creation now is not because oh, well, yeah, the CXC, but CXC is not here. I watch them on Instagram. And I watch CXC Labs on Instagram. I watch CXC Beauty on TikTok. And if you want to know the difference, CXC Labs is Anthony, who happens to be the chemist, who is the one that mixes the formulas and whatnot. And then CXC Beauty is Christian, who happens to be the MUA. And they're a couple in business and in life. And they do some awesome stuff. So, not sponsored. Go check them out. Anyway, I am of the personal belief that I don't have time to find out why you're doing jump cuts. I don't care. I honestly don't care, because as someone who comes from a writing background, I know that for every 400 words you see on a page, I probably took out a bunch of them. I probably took out, sometimes I start writing something and then I completely erase it and I start all over again. And I think anybody that's ever written a birthday card knows the feeling of wanting to say something and not knowing what to say. So sometimes you will take out a sheet of paper, write down the sentiment, and then go ahead and put it on the birthday card. I have done that. But the reality is that I don't question why people do jump cuts, because it's none of my business at the end of the day. And it's really interesting to watch. And again, I don't watch a lot of content creation that had to do with the beauty community. But for example, yesterday, I was watching this guy that I don't know his name. If I find the video, I'm going to leave the link on a comment. He doesn't need me. He's a lot bigger than me. He's a little annoying at times, but I found it very interesting because he was talking about a beauty content creator that is only famous in her own mind. And as I'm watching that video, I'm realizing that the commentary genre, or if you want to call it the drama, has changed so much from what it used to be to what it is now. And also, Peter has made several videos on this topic. And I find it fascinating how how different the perspective is now, and how people will do all these jump cuts and delete entire videos, so that, do you understand that whenever you post a video somewhere, somebody is recording your video and keeping it on an archive? It doesn't have to be a hater. It could be a fan, but if you turn that fan into a hater, you're damn right they're going to show that video. It might not be here. It might be on some obscure chat somewhere, but it is going to show up. And so personally, I want the best out of people. So if I see a person doing a jump cut in a particular place, I'm assuming that they took out something that was crappy and added something that was good. I had a video that I created and I haven't posted it yet, but I probably talked in front of the camera for 40 minutes because I had already collected the images that I was going to insert on the video. And if I have $1 for every time I do a jump cut and you don't see it because there's an image, and because I already recorded everything, so the sound is the exact same, but I'm just inserting images here and there. And sometimes when I'm inserting images, I'm cutting an entire segment and adding another segment. So I really don't question anybody's jump cuts that way. But going back to the likes, I don't know what I'm going to do about the likes on Twitter and how long the experiment is going to be, but I am going to keep you guys posted. I am keeping track of what's happening, of how many followers and how many people I'm following, and how the certain I've had several comments that have gotten 200,000 views. So does it get you more visibility? Yeah, but it's a double-edged sword, because the comments that have gotten that kind of visibility so far, and again, I'm only on like 8 or 9 days that I've been doing this. It might be a little longer, I'm not sure. Those comments have been comments under somebody else's comments. Now, I comment on everybody that I read that I find the story interesting, amusing, or downright disturbing. And that doesn't mean that every comment I make is on an account that has a lot of followers or has a lot of visibility. But that's also something that I have to take into consideration, and I hadn't thought until now. So it is what it is. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, let me look it up real quick, because I just realized that I'm already on 22 minutes and that was not the plan. I hate when I go over. Oh yeah, Luke Skywalker, make the like be with you. I don't know if you know, Donald Sutherland passed away. I am gutted because I love his acting and I didn't know he was like in any kind of situation. I want to talk about this guy. His name is Paul Harp. He has, and the reason why I'm talking about him specifically is because he's the owner of Panthers Plumbing in Greenville, South Carolina, and Plum ER, Charleston, South Carolina. Now, here's the thing about this guy. This guy goes on somebody's private messages and sends this person a message, trying to find the message, because I save all this stuff because I wanted to see what happened. Yeah, let me see if I can. Here we go. You're probably not going to be able to see it very well, but he sent a private message to somebody, and I think you can say what he said. Let's just say that he called this person educated C word, and then told her to go and hurt herself. And I want to say something about this because this is something that is very common, and then the backlash is swift and people will do stupid stuff even in the backlash. So this person is specifically, this man has had 8 heart attacks among other medical ailments. And the reason why I know this is because I left a comment under her post, and that's the post that went I have a lot of views on that post. And I found it fascinating because somebody actually, because people went to all his social media. I did too. Not because I wanted to cancel him. I just wanted to see if he had said anything to apologize, because I was pretty sure that she blocked him after he sent her that message, and I was correct. Anyway, the bottom line is somebody went to his Facebook profile and it turned out that he had 8 heart attacks and a bunch of other things that were wrong with him. Now, before we judge, give me a second because I have to insert something here. One of the conversations that I had last night with a particular person on that actually knew a little bit more about this topic is that when people have heart attacks, their families are forewarned that their um, personality is going to change. It might not happen, but more often than not, it happens. Now, because I don't have the facts about that, I was going to make a video about this. I haven't decided if I'm going to make a video or not, because the video has taken a turn. I want to do the research on whether or not there are actual statistics on how many times this happens. But several people in that comment actually told their experiences of having family members that were the sweetest family members they've ever known. The person had a heart attack, and the next thing you know, the person turned into something else. I don't have the experience with heart attack. I don't remember. Well, actually, no, I do. No, they didn't have heart attacks. They almost had heart attacks, but they didn't have heart attacks. So that didn't change. The main reason why people are talking about this is because many times during heart attacks, you have blood loss to the brain, or oxygen loss to the brain, and that's where it affects you. It's no different than any other trauma. I don't know if you've been here before, but when we were talking about Durst, the one who's apparently killed his wife, killed his best friend, and then killed his landlord, and he's dead now. And they're doing the second part to his series, and they're concentrating on his now widow. Um, One thing that I said about Durst is that I found out that he had trauma when he was younger, and it changed his personality. And I have followed several serial killers, several high functioning psychopaths and sociopaths. And what I mean by that is that there are people that have the self awareness not to go and kill other people, but they do have sociopathic and psychopathic tendencies. I have seen a pattern of many of these people being involved in car crashes where they lost oxygen to the brain, or they've had some sort of traumatic experience that has changed their personality quite considerably. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think it's very interesting that we tend to say, well, trauma can cause a personality change. We seem to stop at the isms: racism, sexism, that transphobia, homophobia, etc. And I have changed my mind about that, because I used to say, well, your mental ailment does not make you that way. But when it comes to this particular type of trauma, I'm wondering if it does. That doesn't mean, by the way, that I excuse his behavior, because one sign that I know that he knows that he did something wrong is that apparently he went on, I don't know what app, and he wrote some sort of apology to her because he knows he's blocked. And he, of course, blamed it on his medical ailments. Now, you might think, but you just said that we might. I am aware of what I said. The man had 8 heart attacks. I do have a little empathy for him, but here's the caveat. If you know that you're having issues because of your medical or your mental health, you need to go and get help and not hurt other people. If you were born as a person who never did a racist act in your life, or was never homophobic, or was never transphobic, and you have some sort of accident and you start going and saying things that normally don't go with your usual behavior, that's when you need to seek medical and professional help. Stop! I hate that. Anyway, the bottom line for me with this guy is, do I think he is responsible for his own actions? Absolutely. I still stand on that. You know, when I said that my haters medical not medical mental health issues, whether it's bipolar or BPD, I don't remember which one it was, that did not excuse her behavior. I stand by that, because it doesn't. Because at the end of the day, if you know that your behavior is impairing your growth, whether it's your growth on social media, or your growth as a person, or your growth in your career, or your growth with your family, if your mental health or physical ailments are impairing your ability to grow as a human being, it is absolutely your responsibility to figure it out and get help. I am not going to sit here and cuddle you into thinking, oh, there, I know you are BPD or any other medical ailment. BPD is the one that comes to mind because I think that's what this person in particular has, not the guy, the hater. I'm not going to cuddle you and say, oh, it's okay because I know you have No, the same way I'm coming for this man and saying it is his responsibility to actually try to figure out a way to approach, to get the message to this woman and to apologize and immediately seek medical attention, whether it's mental health, physical, whatever he has to do to take care of this problem. The same way I tell my hater, if you know that you have BPD, bipolar, narcissistic personality disorder, whatever you have, if you know you have an issue, you need to take care of that issue, because I'm not your personal punching bag, just like that young woman is not this man's personal punching bag. And I want that to be like memorialized on this live stream, even if this live stream doesn't stay public, just because I want people to understand that yes, there are circumstances that kind of make me understand your position, your situation, not your position. But at the end of the day, I cannot condone your behavior because you're being a jerk to somebody else, and everything has to do with you, not with that person. Knowing is only correct. Absolutely. And you know, I was very gung ho about making a video where I was going to trash this guy until I saw that those comments from those people explaining the whole situation with the heart attacks and whatnot. And there is no doubt in my mind, by the way, that a heart attack is absolutely a traumatic experience. Okay, even if you have a mild one, it's still a traumatic experience. But there's two things that are important here. One of them is your medical health, and the other one is your own reaction to it. I don't know. I don't remember the story very well, but I do remember this story about this guy that used to work in a fast food restaurant or something like that, and he got, I believe they got robbed and he got shot. And this guy was like the sweetest man ever, and he was always a very positive person, blah, blah, blah. And when he got shot, he survived, and he was still the same guy. And he went, I'm trying to remember if he actually went and talked to the people that attacked him or what the hell happened. But the bottom line is this: whenever people would ask him, he would always say, well, you know, half of the battle is how you process what happened to you. In my case, these people were strangers that came to the store. Whoever was in the store was going to get shot. It was not a personal attack. So that's completely different for me to process. And I was thinking about that whenever we have a car accident, whenever we have somebody that does a crime, that, you know, those kinds of crimes, it's very different. For example, in my personal case, where I was physically hurt by a man or men. And in every single one of those circumstances, I knew the person. And in some of those circumstances, they were very good friends of mine. And they still did what they did. And yeah, I can see how if I would have processed things differently, my entire life would have been different. And I understand that some people say, well, you have to go through what you went through to be who you are. No, you don't. No, you don't. I changed my mind about that one too. I don't have, and that has to do also with the level of empathy that you can have for other people. I can sit here and hear stories of people that have been abused by their parents and have the empathy to understand their pain without having to go through that. My parents are dead. They couldn't abuse me if they wanted to. But my parents were not abusive by any means of the imagination. Now, were they controlling? That's a different story for another day. But my parents were not abusive in the way that I'm talking about, which is like if you have a narcissistic parent that is always clipping your wings kind of thing. No, I didn't. I never had that. My father had told my mother from jump that he would never allow his kids getting beat because he used to get beat when he was a kid. He didn't like it. So their solution was to punish us by sending us to a room for hours or days, depending on what we did. I hated that. But my dad had a sweet spot for me because I'm the youngest and he was the youngest. So every time he would send me to my room for a week, I would end up maybe serving 3 days of my sentence and I would get my sentence commuted because I would give him the sad puppy eyes. But anyway, bottom line is I didn't have perfect parents. Nobody has perfect parents, but to me, they were pretty great. My parents were pretty great. And so that doesn't mean I cannot empathize with somebody. For example, and I've told this story before, I had a fellow student in school when I was in elementary school. And keep in mind, I only had elementary and high school because we go from kinder to 8 and then from 9 to 12 and we're done. That's private school, by the way. And so this person, I can't remember if it was 6th grade or 7th grade, but we had field day that day. And when he came to field day, you could see his mother's prints on his face because she slapped him on both sides. She slapped him so hard that eventually he realized he was going to get severely hurt. So he jumped on the ceiling of his, not on the ceiling, on the roof of his house so that she couldn't do anything else to him. He had her hands both printed in his face the next day. That, if you don't have a heart and you cannot empathize with a little kid like that, I don't know what to tell you. But I've always had that ability to feel what other people are feeling at that particular moment. I don't know if that's an empath or not. What I know is that I've always been able to do that. And so to me, I didn't have to live through all the pain that I've lived through to be the person that I am, just because I've always been the way I am. Now, does that mean that the trauma didn't affect me? Absolutely. But I could have gotten to the same. It's like when people tell you, well, reading is not the same as living. Baloney. Personally, I'm one of those people that when I'm reading a book, I get really into the book and I can feel everything that the person is saying. I can see everything that the person is saying. I have a very good imagination. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like me. What I'm saying is everybody has the ability to develop certain skills to get to the same place I am without having the same abilities that I do. Okay. We all have the ability to understand what somebody else is feeling, even if we don't feel it ourselves. And so for you to tell me that I have to live through something to actually, no, I don't. I have to fall off the sky to know that I would be scared out of my wits, parachute or not. Okay. I don't have to. And so the reality is that I don't even know what I was talking about, but I think I was talking about the situation with this man the situation with this man, going back to the situation. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Molly. I know not everybody has the ability, but everybody has different abilities that they can get to the same point without going through the stuff. You know what I mean? Like You might not have the ability to empathize with a person to the level of feeling what they're feeling, but you can definitely empathize with the situation because logically speaking, you know that that sucks. See where I'm going with this? So you can get to the same conclusion. That doesn't mean you have to live through it to understand it. Now, if some people are religious and say that God sends you little tests and little lessons and whatnot, I'm not there anymore. Personally, I think that is kind of what's it called when somebody is, let's just say that's not cute. And if you want to hurt somebody in order for them to learn a lesson, I don't like you very much. So and you know what, if you cannot get to the point where you understand that somebody being homeless is a horrible situation, I can't help them, because every single person I surround myself with understands that idea. See where I'm going with it? I don't need you to feel horrible for somebody that's homeless, but I need you to understand that being homeless sucks, and that maybe instead of making a blanket statement that all homeless people deserve to be homeless because they were bad people, you can actually realize that, you know, especially in an economy like this one, a lot of people go homeless because they cannot afford, even with a job, they cannot afford to pay for the rent. See where I'm going with it? That's what I'm trying to say. So going back to this man, I was going to make a video where I was going to basically put him down by any means necessary. But I do thank the people that left the comments under my comment, because now I'm going to do research on this whole heart attack situation and be able to give you guys a more open discussion into the reality that I find it funny that I fell for the same trap that I complain other people falling for, and that is the fact that we only have empathy for people we like. And when we dislike somebody or somebody's behavior, we automatically go with the worst possible situation, instead of remembering that I really hate motorcycles right now. Instead of realizing that everybody has a story, and before we go balls to the wall, because I can guarantee you this guy's not going to have a business for long. People are going for him. Yeah, people are very selfish. You are correct, Molly. People are very selfish at this particular moment in time. Everybody's out for themselves. And I understand that, but I cannot abide by that. If I can help people, even if I can help one person to see the perspective from somebody else's, that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm writing a book. This is where I'm going to end this, because I really said I was not going to stay here for long, and it's been 42 minutes. I'm writing a book where I'm telling the story of my bully, my main bully. I'm not talking about people after I was in my 20s. I'm not talking about the kid I liked in school that decided to call me Bruja. I'm talking, and you know who you are, Bruja del 51. I doubted that he watches this, so I'm not worried that he's going to see this. But I'm not talking about any of those. I am talking about the one bully that I think changed the way I saw life, and unfortunately, that caused everything else that happened in my life, except for my husband and my daughter. I was gonna say my wife. I don't know why. Except for my husband and my daughter, I think everything. Well, okay, and I graduated from college, so I guess that's a good thing. But everything that has gone wrong in my life, and even some of the things that have gone right, have been a direct consequence of this person hurting me in a major way. And one thing that I want to say, and I realize that I'm giving away part of the book by saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Number one, if you've been bullied, I don't care if you were 5 or 55. If you've been bullied, you have every right to feel however you feel about it. You have every right to feel however you feel about it for as long as you need to feel that way. And other people don't get to tell you how to deal with it. I'm still dealing with it. And it's really funny because most of the reason why I'm writing the book is to basically um, deal with it myself. I don't know if that book will ever be published, but one of the things that I have noticed is that ever since I started writing that book, it's like a little veil has been lifted and I feel a little better about myself. I don't know if that's going to develop into other things in my life, but I can tell you this. Before this person came into my life, I was the most self confident person you could ever meet. And I was not pretty. I've never been pretty. So for me to be that self confident, my parents, I have to give it to my parents. That person absolutely destroyed me in ways that you cannot imagine. And it's funny because people say, well, if you say that they destroy you, you're giving them power because you should have. Fuck you. Okay? You don't blame the victim for what the person did to them. And I'm not talking about an assumed victim. I was consistently bullied for every year I lived in Dorado by this person. This person would get in a car with her friends, drive by my house 4, 5, 6 times a night, and scream things at me. I don't think there is any debating that this person did this. Okay? I changed her name to Chanel in the book for purposes of protecting her identity, which I don't know why I'm protecting her identity. Her name is very similar to Chanel. I did not change the names that much. The only name that I did change is that of her previous victim, because for the life of me, I keep thinking her name is A and I think her name is B. But the bottom line is this. I don't care to protect her name. She was a horrible human being. You would think a blonde, blue-eyed Puerto Rican who could get any guy she wanted to, if she really wanted to, would have the brains not to get obsessed to the point of stupidity with this guy. But obsession is something that you don't understand. Maybe it had to do with the divorce of her parents. Maybe it's just that she was an idiot. I don't care. I'm writing my story, and it so happens that I did nothing to this person to be the person that she was. And I kind of sort of got my revenge. I remember saying at one point to one of her friends, you can tell her that she's not going to know when it hits, but it's going to hit. And ironically, that's one of the first lines in the book. But I remember running the story that because unfortunately for her, she graduated from high school. I think it was a year or 2 years after me. No, it was a year after me. And unfortunately for her also, pretty much everybody in my college, in the School of Business Administration in the University of Puerto Rico, because yes, I'm going to say where it was, they already knew me by the time I got there because my sister had been there for about a year. My sister had transferred from Mayagüez to San Juan, and she already had a bunch of friends. So by the time I got there, I had a lot of friends, not counting all the people that graduated with me from high school, not counting all the people that graduated with my sister and were going to the same college. I had a lot of friends that were new friends to us, not from school. And so, and plus I met this group of like 20 people that we all started college together, and we stayed pretty close for the 2 years that I was in that college. And I can tell you that she wasn't ready for that, because needless to say, it spread like wildfire that it's time for my revenge. And the funny thing is, I didn't do anything because the thought of the fact that I was going to get my revenge because I was the big man on campus now as opposed to when we lived in Dorado, it was enough for her to, like, she would see me and she would scatter. So I had a very good 2 years of college. But um, if you ever find this, if you ever see this, yes, I'm La Pelua and I'm coming for your ass. Anyway, I gotta go because I've been yapping for 50 minutes. Y'all have a lovely day. This is gonna stay out probably for 48 hours. I know I haven't privatized the other two, but I just want to see if people get the notifications. So again, if you get the notification but you decided to watch the replay instead, please let me know so I know if the notifications are going out or not, and then decide what I can do. Otherwise, just remember me whenever and send me good wishes my way, and I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, thank you, Molly, for being here.